Right. Well, everybody, it's a special Friday Rambles here at the Gigabytes TV studios. Oh, I'm so tall with this bench. Gotta get down. There we go.
That's gonna be comfortable.
I'm joined by Alicia and Greg from Dust USA. What's
Hi.
up, y'all?
Hello, everyone.
So they're visiting. So they're actually, you guys are based just north, a couple hours north of here, right? In
Findlay.
Findlay in Ohio. So that's where Dust USA is based out of. And the big announcement, you've probably seen if you're a fan of Dust, that the aliens are coming. But for those of you who don't know, this is for you. The first thing we want to do is show off the latest releases for Dust, because the Imperial Japanese Navy has recently come out. Got a couple of new things for that. The Avatar of Cthulhu, and then a couple of other things for, what are the Desert Foxes faction, basically?
Desert Scorpions.
Desert Scorpions,
The
that's the one.
NDAC, the Spetsnaz have some new stuff. So
Yeah. So we're going to show that off. I've got this fancy camera here, so you can actually see in, better close-ups of what this stuff is. There you go. Right on top of his head. Perfect. Actually, I'll put it right there. So we'll be able to zoom in, show off the different models. Now, these are all premium, so these are the ones
Yes.
that are all pre-painted, which is pretty cool. So why don't we go ahead and start with the Avatar of Cthulhu?
Well, I think it shows by itself. This is our next big thing for the Mythos and for the game in general. We just released it in March. It's already one of our best sellers, and it's magnificent. I mean, in game it's super fun to play. You have a lot of options. It's a melee monster. It's a tank, so it flies. So it's really funny to just jump, all around the battlefield and destroy tanks by punching them. And
So it has the fly rule as well?
yes, yeah.
Nice.
So it avoids every single terrain element when it's moving. So it's really easy to move around the battlefield and do whatever you want with it and place it where you want. So it's
turn the backside of that
it's
on.
really exciting. I mean, technically, it's our biggest miniature, our tallest. The techniques for plastic are, we have some reinforcements in hard plastic inside the miniature to make it sturdier so that it doesn't bend
I was gonna say,
under
it's
the
very
weight.
sturdy.
Yeah, so
Just holding it's nice.
technically it's really, really, really good. And well, you see the premium here, and for the premium, our master painters went berserk on it, and
Right.
they managed to really, really do exactly a reproduction of the painting that was made by Sébastien Pic. So
It
it's
looks amazing.
yeah, it is.
Look at that.
Yeah, we're really.
Detail on the feet. I like how it gets a little
His
darker.
glossy, beady eyes.
You
Uh-huh.
have details everywhere. If you turn the miniature, you will see that it has actually small fangs and hooks in the skin.
Oh yeah.
yeah. You have details.
Let's zoom in on that actually.
You have details everywhere. So
There we go.
that's gonna be the wing here. But if you look right here,
Uh-huh.
you will see.
Yeah, there it is.
You see all the detailing.
Uh-huh. That's
So it's really a beautiful miniature. So
Ian says it's a pretty target. A little priority target. I thought he said pretty. My screen's a little far away there. That's a pretty target.
it is a pretty target. Yeah.
So that's for the Cthulhu, and that helps round out. So you've got some of the Migo, and now the Migo assault squads are also.
So the Migo Assault Squad is in the starter set. The Migo Raiders are, or are we, as we call them, inside
ones
the
with
inside
guns,
the
right?
inside the team, we call them the Rigo Raiders
Nice.
after one of our staff, and it's really the Raiders really bring this middle range threat also to the faction that is really efficient with the radiation gun. So
Now this one is the new Japanese, the IJN Rio.
yeah, so you have two in the box. When you buy it primed, you're gonna have the Ryu 2 and the Ryu 3 in the same box, meaning that you're gonna have one chassis, and then you're gonna have two weapons options. So the one that you see right now is the Ryu 3, which is the one with the dual railgun, and the Ryu 2 is a dual heavy laser cannon. So basically on the Ryu, it's a sturdier version of the railgun.
Mhm.
So the railgun by itself doesn't change characteristics because you basically cannot do a bigger railgun even when you put two of them. But the tank by itself, the Walker, is actually way sturdier with more HPs, better armor. So that makes it really a more reliable solution for the Japanese that was, for the moment, relying on fragile medium walkers. So it's pretty good.
Nice. Look at that. Showing off some of those details there.
Yeah.
So I love the weathering that the premium models have.
Yeah.
And then we have a little bit of yellow paint.
Yes, the dragon.
Oh, look at that.
So cool.
So the dragon is actually a decal. So you can have these decals in decal sheets for the Japanese that we are going to release very soon, I think this summer.
Nice.
So
yeah, tell us a little bit more about decal sheets.
Decal sheets are actually something that we offer for all our range. We put a lot of decals on our miniatures, including the primed ones. And you can actually have these decals in sheets that are gathered by theme. So it's going to be aircraft or faction or these kind of things.
Nice.
And we have one for the IGN that is coming where you can have this little dragon like that, among other things.
What else? Anything else for the IGN you want to show us off here?
Right here, that's all that we released recently. With the next ones are going to be in the preview that we just showed during various events in Europe.
Bam. And that is the JP1115B or the
Ryu 2.
Ryu 2, yeah.
Ryu 2, so this one is the dual laser. So it's really similar to the Wotan that Axis players know already.
We want to go to Mercenary.
You choose.
Let's go to this one. Bam.
So this one I'm going to show it with that, actually.
Okay.
Like that. Yep. So this is a mortar squad for the Rangers. And this is the Bulldog, which is the heavy walker equipped with a turret, rapid fire phaser. So none of them are really new. They are part of the army box that we just released in March also.
Okay.
And this army box is actually made to fit with the Heavy Ranger starter set. So inside the army box you will have also the Heavy Ranger attack squad and the Heavy Ranger tank hunter squad, plus the mortar and the Bulldog. So that makes a very, very, how can I say that, brutal force for the Heavy Rangers, because most of the troops will fly and punch stuff or kill stuff in an indecent amount of dice. And then the Bulldog will do the same because the phaser technology is extremely efficient against vehicles, even though you have very few shots. But it's lethal against infantry because you have a ton of dice, and every time you remove cover. So that's really good.
And that's for the tank there?
Yeah, that's for the Bulldog. Yeah.
Bam.
So.
That's so cool. Does that transport anybody?
No, it's not a transport at all. It's just meant to shoot stuff to smithereens. So.
Hit stuff. Phasers.
Yeah. So you have heavy machine guns.
Now in game, phasers are basically anti-cover, correct? So
yes.
Take away cover?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
That's very cool.
So a ton of weapons, all that equipped on a turret that can actually turn. So it's always funny to show it.
It's nice that it has the body style of a Bulldog too.
So
those big fat front legs.
Yeah, it's exactly that. So.
So cool. All right, so those are those two. Very nice. And now let's show off that.
Still for the allies, I'm gonna show the command squad for the Desert Scorpions. So it comes in an HQ box with 3 heroes. So the heroes are gonna be Greg and Easy, which is a pilot that is very good for any jeep, but also any tank from the allies. It's gonna be Bullseye, which is a sniper, and expert sniper, I should say. And then you're gonna have Marek, which is a new hero based on our fabulous European distributor, Marek Lakowski. And basically it's a hero with a heavy phaser gun, so that shoots a ton and has a very nice platoon.
This one in the middle?
No, actually, we don't have them here.
Oh,
this is just the command squad that comes with the 3 heroes.
Very cool.
And this is the regular command squad, so you have the medic here, you will have the officer here, and you will have the radio here, and the mechanic is actually the Australian guy here. Oops, sorry. Moving too fast.
Cool. Now, is that similar to the guy from Predator? He looks like the aesthetic of the guy from
Yeah,
Predator with the big minigun.
I wouldn't put it behind Paolo to have been inspired by that.
Inspired by, yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. So cool. Nice. All right, so that's the command squad of the Desert Scorpions. Then what character is this here?
So for the Endak, here comes the Panzermeister. So Panzermeister is a brand new hero. So the Endak's command squad is actually a a box where you're gonna find heroes that you already know, like the Desert Fox and Tina and Hain, that are really two brilliant officers for the NDAC. And the Panzermeister is not an officer; it's just a pilot. And when I say just, it's not doing justice to the profile, because he's a very good pilot, but also a very good support for any unit that is going to be with, or any vehicle is going to be in, with a new ability called Fanatical, for example, that makes him completely immune to suppression. Ooh. Including the vehicle he's in or the unit he's going to be in. So,
I like that.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
And by the way, thank you for the change to the Laser Grenadier stuff.
Yes.
Very happy with that.
Yeah, it was due. I was hearing Olivier on a podcast in Sweden recently, and as he said, it is frequent that he's revisiting profiles that need a little bit of an update or have been mistakenly nerfed during the latest edition.
Right.
So we can update them, and these ones were due. So
yeah. So what you want to do is subscribe to the Dust newsletter, because that's where you'll see all that new stuff.
Yes. Paradiselost.dustusa.com.
Gotcha. Or you can also find it on dustusa.net, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's the same thing basically. We just bought the two domains to be quiet.
Yeah, like we have playatgiga.com. So
yeah.
So this one is the Mercenary. Is this new Mercenary vehicle?
Yes, this one is actually the latest version. So same thing. You're gonna have a box of 3. You're gonna have the Wrecker. You're gonna have the Demolisher, which people already know. The Demolisher is gonna be the first time it's available outside of the Elite program, and then you're gonna have the new one, the Obliterator, which sports the same weapons as the Hans from the Axis. So short-range missiles that are really meant to kill tanks very efficiently. It's a one-shot, one-kill basically on most light and medium tanks. So it's really good. It's a very popular walker because it's sturdy. It has smoke launchers, damage resilience.
Great
so
details.
It allows you to advance quietly until you are in range for your weapons. So that's really good. It's really it fleshes out also the mercenaries. It's going to be a good year for the mercenaries also. We will talk about it later, but it's going to be a great year. They're going to have a lot of new releases. So.
Oh, heck yes. Now, what other new models?
We have the Nadia here.
Yes.
So it's partially built up because I didn't have time to glue it together yet. But basically it's it's the same famous SSU chassis. And this one has a dual heavy flamer.
Oh, yes.
So it's actually pretty cool for 8 points.
8 points, that's it?
Yep. So.
Oh, nice. Hey, we've done that before.
So it's for 8 points, damage resilience, smoke launchers, and the flames. So it's a range 2. And that really wrecks a ton of stuff on the table. So it hits anything. So it can be really good against vehicles, can be good. Obviously, it's brilliant against infantry because it's 2 blast against everything. So
very cool detailing.
Yeah.
The scoring, like, you can't. I mean, we can zoom in pretty well here, but like you can see that on the scoring. If you're on full screen, on either a phone,
you have it. You have it on the even.
That's really cool.
I mean, the detailing is really good. So.
Yeah, a lot of potential for.
But it's really the quality of the plastic and the way they are engraved and sculpted that really allows you the paint to flow really well on it.
Oh,
so.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Great. Now, anything in boxes we want to show off?
So this one, because this one is pretty cool. It's the Luftwaffe Army box. So the Luftwaffe Army box, same thing. It's as always with our army boxes. You get a ton of miniatures at a very discounted price, basically. And this one is pretty brilliant because you can have 3 infantry units and 1 plane instead of having a regular vehicle. The plane has never been released before. It's the Geist. Geist is an anti-infantry plane with basically autocannons on the hull and autocannons under the hull, so on a turret. So you can really shoot at a lot of stuff all the time. And then along with that, one of the 3 units has never been released before. So it's the X7 wire-guided missile. anti-tank missile, long range.
Is that the thing on the front there?
It's
arrow
the
thingy on the
it's
front?
the little one here. This is
Oh,
the Geist,
gotcha.
and the X7 is actually the support weapon here.
Oh, cool. Okay. That's the one of the two.
Yep,
there?
this one.
There we go.
You have it.
Look at that.
So, long range, anti-tank, very efficient. Wire guided means that if you only use this weapon, it's actually like you're sustaining your attack all the time. So it's really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's pretty much that.
Ian says it lets you cook Mythos units and cultists.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, it's just to enhance your chef apparatus. When you
Nice. So that's the new releases that are currently available.
Yes,
right?
they just released. Actually, this one released officially yesterday.
Nice.
Including also the Ranger Army box released officially yesterday, but Gigabyte had them since March because they pre-ordered.
Oh, nice.
And stores that pre-order have access to this kind of previews.
Love it. That's
So.
great. Nice. So, do we want to get into the Vril?
Do we?
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you just announced. If you want to talk a little bit about that, but we've announced stuff that is all the way through 2020 releases.
Yeah, it's even further than that. Basically, Paolo and Olivier went to several events in Europe, one in Italy, one in Sweden, and it went really well. They were really happy with that. The communities there are really fantastic, and they presented, how can I say that, an informal keynote on what's coming. And so we have it available for download on our websites. But yeah, they basically showed for the first time the Vril. And that is pretty exciting.
Now, this has been something that's been in the works for quite a while, right? People have always said about aliens, like, oh, we want aliens.
The Vril is the thing that started Dust. Even though we never released them before, Dust was created around one event, which is the Axis finds a Vril spaceship in Antarctica. So they started it all. It's because of the Vril technology that the war evolved. It's because of the Vril knowledge that the war turns the way it is. It's because of the Vril that the mythos is here. So, or vice versa, the story will tell us. But it's really they were a major part of our fluff, and now they are finally going to get released. So it's not before Christmas 2020. So it's really.
This is the Vril Valkyrie right here.
Yeah. So the Vril Valkyrie, I should let Alicia talk about it.
Yeah.
Because she knows a lot about it.
I do.
So,
Yeah. Go for it.
This is Miss Ebony.
Yes.
That's about what I know about it. So I know that the Valkyries will be women, and the little gray guys are men.
Mm-hmm.
And that I believe there'll be 3 or 4 of the commanders, which that's what she is. She's a commander.
Mm-hmm.
And they have really awesome vehicles. It's a flying.
Do we have vehicles on that?
Yeah, a little bit lower.
She's
We
got
will
this
see it.
funky adapted. We joke that it's a Vespa.
Yeah.
So
Let's go ahead and go through here the Vril Greys.
Yeah.
So
Look at that.
the Greys are regular troops.
Yes.
So the Vril is a confederation, which means that it's
there's all shapes and sizes.
yeah,
of
it's an
Vril.
assemblage of various races. So nothing will look the same all the time. So
I love it. I like the orange against the gray.
yeah.
You know.
Oh,
Yes.
the artist that draws them is incredibly talented. So it's Daniel Zrom actually that draws, and the sculpts are made by Gaël Goumont,
That's fantastic.
he's beyond fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's insane the quality of what he does, and he gets better on each and every sculpt. So it's really, really amazing.
For
So,
anyone
Look
who
at
loves
these.
sci-fi, like the Vril is just the way to go. I mean,
Yeah.
So then
it's
this
got
is the
everything
Martian
from your
apes.
childhood. Yeah.
mhm. Martian apes, so apes, gorillas, but with 4 arms,
Yeah.
very big, very, 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 very strong.
Because the one
But
with
no
2 are
space
scary.
bears, right?
Say what?
No space
No
bears.
No
bears.
space bears, no bears, no bears
I
ever.
dream.
Nope.
Because you know, if a gorilla with 2 arms wasn't scary enough, now you have one with 4 massive arms.
Now, is that going to be bigger than the regular gorillas?
They're going to be
About the same size?
a smidge bigger.
Size bigger? Okay.
Yeah, they're not meant to be gigantic, but they are really. I mean, they're going to be impressive on the base. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Now, heavy troops. This is the one that caught my eye when I first saw it.
So this is another race because these are lizard men.
So it's a prototype drawing, and Paolo had said that he was going to make them appear more lizard-like because it's not coming across in the drawing.
Oh, so they're lizards.
They're lizards.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So it's not apes. They're not apes in armor. They're
I see
actual
that
lizard
now.
men.
He wants a bigger
Yeah.
nose, you know.
Yeah, more dino-like.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, no way.
John Galvin is
John
going to love
Galvin.
that.
Yeah, I know. So you see what I mean? It's like they have like everything in the army. It's
Flying
fantastic.
Vespas.
Yes, but it's so kitschy. It's just
So this one is a very, very, very early drawing. It's not even a drawing. It's really a
Concept art.
oh, it's not even there. It's really the basic shape of the vehicle. You don't have any detail or anything. It's really based on the 1950s vehicles. Because basically when the Vril come to Earth, their technology has evolved. So they are ahead of what we have in 1947. For example, the army will not have walkers. They will have anti-grav stuff that floats around like the Vespas. Because
rolling is so
because
dinosaur.
touching the ground is so passé. It's so 1947, you know. So
Well, who wants to touch the ground if you can float?
exactly.
Exactly.
So
Especially when there's germs.
yeah.
There's probably less friction involved, so that
Right.
they can go faster with less
What I
energy.
like about it is like the lizards would have pretty good immune systems. They don't need the
Mhm.
glass things, but like the grays, the race may need
Yep.
to have that protection on there.
Exactly. So they're gonna have actually the helmet that is gonna be in translucent plastic.
Yes.
So it's really
that pops on and off.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. So then, do you know why it's less of a circle like we think of traditional?
instead of having the round bubble,
yeah,
it's
it's more like a cylinder.
If I remember correctly, Paolo told me that it was easier to put it like that for the moment, and he was still working on the shape of the helmet. So I cannot guarantee that we're not gonna have bubbles in the end.
Oh, gotcha. But for
But-
now,
but for now-
this looks more like the
Yeah.
traditional round shape.
Yeah. So
But then
it would be closer to that.
Okay.
These are really it's not even prototypes. It's really the first drafts of
It looks
everything.
so cool.
Yeah, it does. It's extremely exciting for us. I know that the community is really excited about them. We had some very positive feedback. I mean, really.
Yeah, like originally the Vril were taller.
We
Oh,
had.
Yeah, they were going to be.
Yeah, the Valkyries were meant to be basically these 9-foot tall women,
Okay.
like
Yeah,
really
like
bigger.
Valkyries from-
But the problem is that putting that into a miniature would look like they were women that were badly molded and
Okay.
just made too big. Like, oops, they forgot to scale them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the original project, but it won't survive the industrial process due to appearance when you're 3 feet away from the table.
Gotcha. If anyone has any questions about the aliens, then you let us know, and we can answer that, hopefully. If we can't answer it, we'll save it for a later date.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we can't answer it, we'll let you know. Cool. So that's the Vril that we have right now that's
Yep.
been announced. So it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Do we want to show off some of the other stuff that's in that PDF for future releases?
We can show absolutely
Alright,
everything
let's
that's
go
in
ahead and
it.
start from the top.
You will notice also that the logo for the Vril is actually the V with the death head, and it's in a shape of a atomic mushroom, because their weapons are going to be atomic weapons.
What?
Yep. So it's going to be a new
Give me
new
some more
kind.
stuff. Give me some more.
No, for the moment that's all I can say.
No, Greg. I need more information. Look at that. It's so cool. Okay, cool. Let's start from the top here, which is some of the allies stuff.
So
We showed off this.
yeah, exactly. You see the 3 heroes on the steps of the temple. So really, it's a very good headquarter. Honestly, a lot of people were surprised by the price of the command squad, because in points it's really higher than others. But most of them are equipped with phases. So even if you don't have a command action to give, you just shoot with them and you're gonna kill a lot of stuff. So They're really, really good. I really like the Desert Scorpions gameplay right now. It's just so much over the top, all in. It's really funny.
I really love the Greg and Izzy mini.
Yes.
Heavy Rangers headquarters, HQ.
Yep. So this is a preview. So this is going to be released for Gen Con. So available for pre-order end of July at your favorite shop. Exactly. So same thing, a command squad of 3 guys plus Oz 117, which is a hero that has been out of production for a long time, and now is going to be back.
Oh, nice.
So
now then, he has the radio in his suit, so he can give a command to anyone in the field.
Yes, when they are in armor 3 or 4, they can give orders whenever they wear. So
great photo. I like the amount of little dust on the ground.
Yeah. You should see Paolo take the pictures. It's
actually, I posted a memory from when we were actually in the studio and we got to watch him and Philippe. They sit there. It's this huge studio, and he has this little air blower, this little puff ball, like the kind that you used to take the boogers out of babies with, Right. But he just would sit there and he would be like, and
a little bit of dust,
and he'd be like, and then he would take the picture. Right. He was just like perfectionist with that.
I love it. Practical effects are great.
Yeah.
So this one is the Tornado Storm / Thunder.
Yes, scheduled to be released by the end of the year or beginning of next year. It's the classic Pelican shape of planes that the Allies already know, except this one will have 3 weapons options instead of the 2 that were already released, and the third one is a dual phaser gun. So anti-ground units, but it's going to be very good to have heavy phasers on a plane. That's going to create some more possibilities for the Allies. So nice. and the plane looks super awesome. So
USMC command truck.
Yep. So same chassis as the Dodge truck that the Desert Scorpions are using, but different weaponry. The machine guns are going to be a little different, and of course it's USMC, so you will be able to play it with your USMC. Because they were lacking a little bit in this department, common vehicles, they didn't have any, so it will be fixed.
And then the LVT thing.
So here we're talking about really previews of, I wouldn't even dare say that it's 2020. We're going to try, but I would say 2021, 2022.
Breath of a dream.
Yeah. So transport troops, troop transports, and so you have the same chassis and different weapons options, same thing, so...
But it's nice to see things this early because it gives you kind of where are they heading with the direction of the company. What type of models are we interested in building? And getting the feedback from the community to see, are they also interested in these types of vehicles?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a bunch of machine guns on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're amphibious. They have a ton of machine guns. I mean, it's really an ally vehicle in the spirit.
Now, what's this one with the thing on top, the turret?
This one is just a round turret with a heavy machine gun, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just going to be a little sturdier. But again, these are shapes and studies that Paolo is working on.
So what is this? Bridge layer?
The bridge layer. So Paolo has a project of engineering vehicles. It's a part of the rules right now that is a little neglected by some players. But we would like to emphasize this part of the game also because it's really fun, actually. So this one would make impassable terrain passable. Or water not be water anymore, this kind of thing. So it's really, I mean, again, a study. It needs to be, as you can see, it's the chassis of the Bulldog that we showed a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. But it can be pretty exciting. And the fun thing is that it could actually deploy the bridge the way it's shown.
Really?
Yeah, you could actually unfold the whole vehicle. We always have these mobile parts on our vehicles, and this one would genuinely have the bridge put down like that. So...
That's so cool.
It is.
Walking priest.
So same.
That's artillery.
Yeah. Same thing. Bulldog chassis with an artillery cannon on it. Kind of the equivalent of the Long Tom 2. Mm-hmm. These kind of things. So fun stuff.
Artillery is great. So a lot of people don't realize artillery hits 4 squares.
Yes, you hit 4 squares at the same time, 2 by 2. You deprive of infantry save, so that means that if they're not in cover, they're dead. So it's very efficient. You can also throw smokes with them at the same range, and you just hit on a faction logo or target, and you can have 4 squares of smoke to cover your advance.
Oh,
so,
anywhere.
Yeah. So
what a super heavy tank. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So this is how the Allies say we can do more.
Look, it's is that almost like it's a tank destroyer?
Oh yes, it is. It is, and the turret doesn't move. There's no turret basically. It doesn't move. It shoots straight. It's super sturdy. It's gonna be armor 7. It's insane. So.
Oh my gosh. Armor 7 for allies?
Yeah.
Finally.
Well, they have some. They have
a couple.
They have the Fireball, the Punisher, and the Devastator, and the Punisher too.
So this is like an anti-tank.
But this one is going to be a tank. So the fact that it's not on legs will have different rules. It's going to be a different speed, and it's going to be also a little narrower. It's going to take 2 squares instead of 4. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, another T-28. Is this the different one?
Yes, a little bit, tiny bit. So this, if I remember properly, and people are gonna insult me if I make a mistake on that, but these were chassis that were created for tanks that were supposed to go on nuclear war. Huh. So they were same thing. They didn't have mobile parts on the turret or these kind of things. They were meant to shoot straight and kill stuff and be very low on the ground. As low as possible for a heavy tank, but
right.
So that's the idea. So
Black Mamba, ooh, aircraft.
Yeah. So this one is.
Oh my gosh, the guns! That's a lot of guns.
Oh yeah. So there's actually a game to count the number of guns that you have on the plane, because you have guns everywhere on the plane, absolutely everywhere. So it's. I don't know how to describe this plane. For the moment, it's just a dream.
We just call it guns.
It's yeah, exactly. It's really just a dream right now because it's, I mean, industrially speaking, it's a hot mess. But it's something that we are working on progressively. It takes from the Pelican chassis, obviously, but it's way larger. That would Olivier still thinks that it should be an armor 2. I keep thinking that it should be an armor 3.
There aren't any armor 3s right now.
No, the first armor 3 will be for the Vril.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
Because we're special.
Now for the Axis.
So
Grenadier HQ.
So the HQ that we described a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. So you see Panzermeister. The one that we showed had a different head because in the headquarter box, along with the premium that is sold separately, you will have 3 heads options.
Oh, nice.
So you have the one with the soft hat that you see in this picture. You have the one with the colonial hat that we showed on our camera. And then you're going to have the one with the hard hat, like the Desert Fox on the right. Nice. So the officer hat.
Heavy Grenadier HQ.
Yep. So this one is not really a preview. It's available right now. But it's I think that Paolo put it because he really likes the Heavy Grenadiers.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
It's a fun way to play Axis. You're not necessarily used to play a small number of troops that are very sturdy when you play Axis, and this one's allow you to do that. So.
Bullet Cruise HQ. Now this one's been out for a little while.
Yes, this one has been last year. Yeah, exactly. So
I bought this when they first was that Origins, I think.
Yep.
But nobody can have too much of Totenmeister.
Right.
That's just an amazing
You should
character.
play squads of Totenmeisters.
Yes.
We're trying to convince Olivier of that also.
So I actually made all of my non-brainless zombies have glowing eyes, so that you can tell which ones are brainless.
That's really convenient.
So if you can control them, then they have glowing eyes. Otherwise, they're just dead eyes.
That's clever.
That's the way I made it.
Yeah.
So then, like, I imagine that these guys could actually be zombies, even though they're not really.
No, they're not normally, but yeah, why not?
So I made them glowy eyes too.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have.
Now this one blows my mind. X-33. What is this?
This is one of the latest experiments from the Blutkreuts.
Whoops.
It's going to be gigantic. Not gigantic as the Cthulhu avatar, but it's going to be big.
I mean, look at that thing.
Like big.
So it's got like multiple. It's got 3 heads.
Yeah, 3 heads, 2 arms and a half.
It reminds me of that monster from the guy that injected himself from the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, he's just like
Jekyll.
Yes.
And Hyde.
Yeah. No, but the bad guy.
Yeah.
So then there's like a Panzer Shrek and like the mini arm that's on the side.
Yeah, he has a pincer on the left that is probably right. The rules are still being worked on. He has a Panzerfaust. He has, I mean, yeah, it really describes the Blutkreuts. It's meant to be over the top. and giving possibilities that are beyond imagination. So
that definitely is. Wow.
So yeah.
Love it. Luftwaffe.
So the X-78 anti-tank missile that is in the Luftwaffe army box is right here.
Nice. So that's what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Wire gun.
Exactly. You see it here painted with the crew.
There's a close-up of the squad.
So you see the guy with his remote and this kind of things.
That's so nice.
Same thing. We have a nice level of detail here.
Now these are ones that people might have seen if they've seen the booth in person.
Yes.
We had samples of those.
We had samples at Gen Con and Adepticon. So the E10 is the smaller chassis of the new tanks for the Axis. This one is just a regular anti-tank. It's going to be released for Christmas. So, and the E15, a little bit larger with a laser cannon, is going to be released at the beginning of 2020.
Nice.
So.
And then this is a different chassis.
So same chassis actually. It's still an E15, but this one is a transport.
Nice. So there's not a lot of small transports to the Axis, right? They're usually legs.
Yeah, the only transport that you have right now, transports that you have are the four-legged ones that take 2 squares. So.
E50.
It's a medium tank, as strangely as it sounds, but it's so it's going to be the equivalent of the Loki or the Jagdwotan in terms of size. But sturdy chassis, obviously on wheels, on caterpillars, I should say.
And then the super heavy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes. Yes. So this one is going to be different. It's going to be released as a resin kit that you're going to be able to adapt on Tamiya models at first. In the future, we do not say that we're not going to produce it ourselves, but it's not going to be a priority project.
Gotcha. And there's a variant with a
two. Yeah. Anti-aircraft, anti-tank.
The Leopard?
Yeah.
Very cool. And now Cthulhu. Now this stuff, I mean, we have the Avatar.
Yeah.
Amazing. But then we have the cultist squads.
So cultist guards are regular cultists with, as you can see, machine guns. So they have the Thompsons. So again, old-fashioned weapons. This one is amazing.
Isn't he great?
This one is just bonkers.
One guy holding it, one guy shooting.
It's okay, I'm already deaf.
What?
Now that's pretty cool. With
I know.
Yes. So rules are still work in progress on that, but we basically have this evolution of the hero that can be either purchased as a regular hero or purchased as a hero on this magic carpet, which makes him awakened, if I remember the ability properly. And awakened would allow him to actually join a unit of Mythos creatures.
I mean, if you don't buy the one with the magic carpet, that's just...
Oh, it would be in the same box anyway, so you're good.
Now, this one I was curious about.
No.
What is he?
Dark Young. So this is a troop that is going to be the size of the Migos.
It looks like a pet.
A tiny bigger, but it's a ground troop. Melee oriented. If I'm not mistaken, and if they take from the first test that we did about them like a while ago, and of the great old one they are coming from, their tentacles should have some special abilities that allow them to reach in melee further than range 1.
But it's adorable, doesn't it? It looks like an angry artichoke.
Now,
it's what it is.
One, finally.
Mm-hmm.
So deep ones. So so if you scroll, you will see several representations of the deep ones because they have 3 evolution status. So this is the second, and this is the third.
Oh wow!
So the third is much bigger. It should be something on the size of heavy armor, 3-man units. So they will be more sturdier, stronger, but the other 2 are going to be size of regular humans and going to be by 5 normally.
And it's the HQ squad?
This is one of the 2 actually. The headquarters are going to be a little funny with the Mythos because you're going to have a headquarter that is really meant for the cultists and a headquarters that is really meant for the creatures. So what you're seeing right now is Rasputin. So the Russian famous guy that died multiple times, And these two guys are actually high priests, and they basically make a choir that allow Rasputin to give command actions to monsters.
Interesting.
So the Mythos creatures that right now cannot be healed, cannot be given command actions or reactivated, all these kind of things, now would be able to do it.
Reactivate the avatar?
Yes. Now imagine reloading a psychic scream from the avatar of Nyarlathotep now.
Yes.
So
Ooh.
yeah, and this is the headquarters for the cultist. So regular type units with the officer, the radio actually, and the officer are in the same miniature, and it's going to be the guy with the megaphone.
The officer giving it.
Exactly. I don't need a radio. I just have a very, very loud voice.
Right.
Then the mechanic, obviously, and the medic.
I love that.
Yeah.
Some new scenery. Ooh.
So this one is pretty cool. It's plastic. It's not going to be resin like we usually do with this kind of highly detailed terrain. And we have a fun story for that. The people that are going to play at Gen Con during our events are going to play a scenario that is going to have this palette on the table, and the winner of the scenario will leave with the palette.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So.
Altar and idol for Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Look at that.
4 square, 2x2, and with the idol, we've been showing it in our glass cases during shows in the past few years.
Is he gonna do the thing with it?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It's going to be a special edition, but this one is this one is going to be in 2 parts, so you're going to be able to use the idol by itself or not, and it's going to have rules, obviously, that is going to create some disturbance in the force.
Now,
Wrong
ventilation shaft, that's from episode 1 of Star Wars. They're going to the ventilation shaft. That's huge.
It is. Same thing. It's probably going to be a 2x2, very bunker looking stuff.
I like that it's industrial, so we get a little more of the what would be inside a city.
Yes.
Because a lot of the stuff currently for Dust is like outskirts, it seems like
yes, for the Babylon terrains, yes, because it is obviously outposts and this kind of thing, so it's really desert like and very low industrial level. But yeah, we are urbanizing.
Japan.
So this is
Cadets?
oh yeah, this is the Cadet headquarters. So it's the first headquarters that we're going to release. It's going to be for Christmas.
Nice.
So command squad, little particularity, it's going to be a 6-people command squad. So the 6 cadets that you see on the bottom of the picture, including the 2 that are on the same oval base, holding the machine gun. So 6 HPs instead of 5.
Nice.
So it's going to be interesting also to see the change of gameplay. And three heroes. Yes. One of them officer, the other 2 being one with a mini mortar and one with the Japanese version of the Panzerfaust, basically.
That's the one, the white?
Yeah, the white is the officer. Yeah.
Nice.
She's super charismatic. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. The Ninja AR squad?
Yeah, assault rifle.
Assault rifle, gotcha. Nice. I like the one person saying stop.
Uh-huh.
They're so cool.
Yeah.
They're my favorite models.
Yeah.
Same thing. Scouts by Gaël Goumont he really went to town with the ninjas. So.
If you haven't seen this Heavy Walker yet, you're missing out.
Yes.
Amazing. So good.
Not before the end of 2020.
Right.
Because really, it's a lot of work.
And a railgun tank.
Yeah. So the Japanese E-15. So you see the very particular armor on the side that is really Japanese style, and the railgun as a cannon. So it's going to be interesting.
Paratroopers.
So
nice.
2020, 2021, regular Navy. So not the very specific troops of the ninjas or the cadets. So something that is more grunt, but it's specialized troops with airborne. So it's gonna be fun.
Oh heck yes! Look at that. So cool. Small weapons. These expansion packs or just
these are going to be on sprues, but you're going to have them also on the miniatures, obviously. So the railgun teams are going to be released for Gen Con, if I'm not mistaken. It's either Gen Con or Christmas. You're going to have the 2 railgun teams in the same box. You're going to have the one for the cadets and the one for the ninjas. So they're going to be really efficient, although they're going to be extremely fragile since you're gonna have only two people on the base. So that's gonna create very fragile units, but obviously with a ton of firepower. So
cool.
It's gonna be a matter of placing them properly and then taking advantage of the fact that they are kind of cheap.
So are these both gonna be in the same box?
Yep, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Same box.
So you actually get two railgun teams.
Exactly.
Nice. That's so cool.
So
it's what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, me too. I'm really, really, really excited about that. I've been looking at these robots for the past 10 years. So yeah, it's no, it's true. It's a very, I mean, it's a drawing that was existing for Dust since before I met Paolo, I think.
Wow. So that's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
And the super heavy walker tank.
Yeah. So chassis that is similar to the Axis heavy walker, because they share the same technologies. Obviously, the Japan just CC'd it from the Axis, so they had a lot of technology in common.
And then some of the aircraft.
Yep.
Some smaller aircraft, and then finally Mercenary.
Tito.
I wonder who that is.
So when you ask Paolo, he says no, it's Tito. The story is that Tito is actually his nickname given by his wife.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, in Tagalog and Filipino, that is uncle.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
So
Tita and Tito, it's uncle and aunt. Mercenary HQ.
So releasing at Gen Con with 3 miniatures, 3 heroes. So Emma, Natalia, and Luisa that have never been available before, except inside an organized play kit or for the Dust Elite. So now they're going to be available. Luisa is going to be able to play with the Demolisher that we released in March. I mean, it's it's really one of the boxes that really I'm looking forward.
Support weapons.
Yep. So heavy machine gun and recoilless rifle in the same box.
Nice.
Yeah.
Get ready for some.
As I said, it's going to be a very good year for the Mercenary.
Railguns.
Yeah. So this one is actually is going to be a hero unit.
Really?
Yeah, because the Mercenary managed to capture. How can I say that? Yeah, capture. Acquire forcefully a railgun from the Japanese, and are now using it. But they only have one because again the Mercenaries are not equipped. They scavenge a lot. So they only have one, and it's going to be a hero unit. So you're going to play only one of them in your army. Same thing, 2 HPs, obviously Mercenary, so being able to play with anyone. So that means that anyone can have a railgun in their army.
Nice.
Pew pew.
Anti-aircraft Mickey.
Yep. So same chassis as the previous Mickeys that we released. This one is going to have the anti-aircraft tank, anti-aircraft Walker turret that you have for the Axis.
And the excavator. Speaking about
engineering vehicles. So same thing, but this one is not before 2022, best case scenario.
Right.
But it's really something that we're excited about. It's fun.
Some light vehicles there.
Yep.
And what is this? Italy.
So Italy is it's going to be a faction by itself, not a block, but it's a faction of the Axis.
Oh, okay.
They have some very particular stuff. Fun story: the railgun was actually invented by the Italians.
Really?
Yeah, and they lended it to the Japanese. So you will probably see some railguns at a point in the Italian army.
Nice. I like the aesthetic as well.
Yes.
All right, and the last one, SSU.
Yep.
So PLA, HQ.
Mm-hmm. So this one is Fu Manchu. He's a hero for the PLA, based on a very famous character from novels and movies.
Ho Chi Minh Volunteers.
Yeah, Vietnamese troops, because Vietnam is part of the SSU.
A new carrier type.
Oh, no, this one is actually. So this one is a re-release of something that existed. So it's going to be the weapons options of Anatoly Alexei and Nadia. So Flamer, Tesla gun, and Gatling gun. But you're going to have it with a carrier aircraft, which means that you can take the Walker, carry it around the battlefield, drop it, and it starts attacking. So
a new configuration for the K. This thing looks amazing.
Yeah.
KV-47 Arrow.
Yeah. The Arrow are the ones that can be dropped by the aircraft like that, and
cool.
And some of them never existed before. So
double miniguns, man.
Yeah.
Always great. new configurations for the PT-47?
Yeah, so it's going to be PT-47 C, D, and E, if I'm not mistaken. So the one with the Katyusha that you see here. So that is really waited for by a lot of people. And then the 2 rocket launchers.
And Carl Waltz.
And now we're talking real business here. This is our next starter set for the SSU. It's going to be a Steel Guard starter set. So you're gonna have you're gonna have Karl Kowalski with his Marauders. So
and these flyers?
They are flyers. Right now, the way we have tested it, like again a long time ago, maybe Olivier changed his mind. They were flying only once per game. Okay, it was like this rocket jump one time per game. But they have Tesla batons. So that means that they stun you in melee, which is absolutely abominable to face. Armor 4, smoke launchers, and assault shield, which means that they have a save in melee also, before the damage resilience. So taking down this unit is going to be a major pain in the back.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Looks cool too. Amphibious tank with 4 sets of tracks?
Yep. Same thing. They were tanks that were supposed to sustain a nuclear fire. So.
Gotcha. And then finally the aircraft.
Yep, the Yak. So.
Classic.
Fast 1% jet. So yeah,
that
it's.
Is everything.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. So that's all the new expected releases that are going to be happening. So that concludes today's episode, y'all. So if you're interested in getting anything for Dust 1947 at all, if you're local to the Atlanta area, come by Gigabytes Cafe. We carry a whole bunch of Dust in stock. We have an Atlanta group. You can go to Atlanta Dust on Facebook.
They play every Monday night.
Right.
And they play also during the weekends on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate.
Awesome. Yes. And then you also have dustusa.net, which is your web store.
Yes.
For those of you who need...
for those who are not local to Gigabytes, you will be able to find your local shop there. Mm-hmm. You will also be able to read a little bit more about the story of Dust, about the products, find everything you need to then go buy them in your favorite local gaming shop.
Sweet. So thanks everybody for joining us for this very special Giga Rambles with the Dust folks, Alicia and Greg, and we will see y'all soon. We have some stuff that we've been recorded and then we've been editing for them, and so we're going to release that. It's very cool looking stuff like the Luftwaffe, explaining different units and different factions and different of the different Indak and all that stuff. So we look forward to seeing y'all next time. In the meantime, thanks for watching today. Thank you.